into the mentality, get into the place, utilize the ability that we have inside, our level of focus, our level of ability, our level of looking from within to find the reflection outwards, radiating to the level where other people won't go to achieve the things other people won't. We'll get some energy readings done today. We'll get into the ability to understand ourselves, the ability to reflect outwards. We'll start asking ourselves the types of questions that nobody else will. Is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. So as we start to get down with that kind of vibe, as we start to get into that kind of place, talking about positivity, the mentality, the ability to be who you are, to face off against the challenges that you face off against on a daily basis. So as we focus, as we give ourselves permission to be who we are, as we put positive vibes into the universe, as we give ourselves the place where we start to get down with the mentality, we are going to face off against challenges. We are going to face off against things that are going to ask us the questions. How do we get where we want to go? What types of challenges do you want to make it through? And you're going to face off against things that nobody else can for you. You're going to ask yourself questions nobody else can. You're going to get down with the things that nobody else will do for you. And so a lot of us are going to face off against challenges. We're going to have to look inside. We're going to have to look at the abilities that we do have. And the challenges will become overcome by your mentality. So where are you in your mentality? Where are you in your day? Where are you focusing? What type of place do you go to that nobody else can? When do you give yourself the ability to be who you are on the inside? When do you give yourself the ability to have that place inside of who you are where you are facing off against the things that nobody else can for you? And a lot of times we're going to look for the teacher in those lessons. We're going to look for the teacher in those challenges. We're going to look for the teacher in the things that we're truly going off against. We're going to look for the teacher in the things that we're doing on our daily. And, you know, a lot of times when you really enjoy something is when you're able to do it no matter how much it costs or doesn't cost. It's what goes on inside that matters the most. It's what you believe about you. It's what drives you is the questions that we got to ask ourselves daily. What makes us so unique? What is the traits that you have that nobody else can and nobody else can do for you? And at the same exact time, there's a lot of people across the face of the planet. So, you compete with a lot of people. And so, are you competing with the one person that matters the most? Are you working with the one person inside of you? Are you recognizing that there is no competition when it comes to you versus you? That it is what it is. It is that you are alive. It is that you are on your journey. It is that you are on your path. That it's not a game to be won. It's a mentality. It's a level of focus from within you. It's an ability to get down with oneself and to face off against the challenges that one has to the place where, you're seeked out for being you. It's when you give yourself permission to be who you are on the inside and you're nothing less than who you are. And a lot of people rob themselves of that ability. They stop themselves from facing off against those kinds of challenges. They stop themselves from believing that they can achieve their dreams, that they can get to the place where they want to go in life, because they let the little things stop them. And each little thing that you get done, every little victory that you have, every little challenge that you have, every part of your mentality is important. Every part of your ability to be who you are inside is important. And you are important. And it's when you set time aside for yourself, 60 minutes, and you put yourself in a place where nobody else can go. It's when you sit down and do energy readings for people, or you might be the best artist in the world, you might be the best singer. As when you take the time to sit down and do that, is when you take the time to do more of what you enjoy. It's when you give yourself that place to grow. It's on that page that the energy inside starts to flow. It's on that page inside where the energy starts to manifest. It's on that page inside where you start to ask yourself the questions, blessings that nobody else can. It's when you start to understand your energy. And of course, we're doing energy readings today. I did about 3-4 of them in the last few days every day. So people start coming along and they start asking the questions. Yes, I am. That I am. And, for instance, this question was asked here. It was asked, this was the question that was asked. Am I a Christian? Blessings. Toda bom. I don't speak Portuguese. However, I am a dual citizen to Brazil. And so when we ask the questions that nobody else will, I started to look at this because I've been into meditation for nearly a decade. And I realized that in the Bible it's talked about meditation 23 plus times. When do we wake up and actually start to see that, it is a part of Christianity to meditate. It is a part of understanding this universe to be a part of it. And, I started to realize that what we say and the way in which we say things is the process, and that we are a part of the universe. And it makes me really excited to have that question, because that's exactly what I want to do. I want people to open their eyes to the universe that God created. This universe, this thing that He created for all of us. And I want people to start to see that universe, and that we are a part of the process, that your breath has a purpose, that your mentality has a purpose, that the place inside of you has a purpose. And it is for you to be you. It's for you to go on your journey, to be on your path. And it's inside of that we find ourselves. It's when, we start to see the positive things happening in our lives. And, a lot of people teach otherwise. They teach, that you have to think that this is good or bad. That you have to, choose good or bad. Which force are you on? And that's not what it says in the Bible. What it says in the Bible is that God saw that light was good. Okay. This means that there was darkness and light. This means there was a time before that. It means that there had to have been a time before that decision was made. And I want to remind people of that time. I want to remind them of the time where their mentality laid inside, where they did things because they were positive, because they were a part of who they are, because the things that they were doing and the blessings that they were achieving and the places that they were going were connecting them with this universe. And so I want to see the light before the choices. I want to see the light when it was separated from darkness. I want to get to the place where we see beyond those things. We start to understand that God was known as the Alpha and the Omega, the all-knowing one. And that this universe was created with that level of understanding, that level of being. And that it's up for you to see it for yourself. Ain't nobody else going to pick you up but you. You got to look inside of yourself and start to see that what you have inside is a blessing. That your process is a blessing. That the reflection is what other people see on the outside is you being yourself. And what is it that you do every day? What kind of place do you go? Where do you put your breath? What challenges do you face off against daily that only you can do? And that's where we should be searching. We should be searching inside of ourselves. We should be searching for the path that we have. We should be searching for the positivity. We should be searching to understand this universe in such a way that we become a tool in this universe. That, a lot of people, they joke, you're saying that I'm a tool. And yeah, I am saying that you are a tool. Have you spent time using the tools that you have? Have you spent time using the process that you are already? Have you started creating a relationship with the Most High God that the process has the ability to work through you? And have you gotten to the place inside of yourself where your relationship with that God of this universe utilizes what you have inside? And so when I'm asked if I'm a Christian, you might call me a different kind of Christian. But what I believe in is that we have a purpose, that we each have a place, that the blessings that we have inside, that the universe was created for us all, that when we utilize our level of focus, when we utilize our foundation, when we hit that place talked about in the Bible as Christ-like consciousness, when we hit that place, that was a place of understanding, that it's a place of mentality, that it's a place of purpose, that when you utilize what you have, when you utilize your breath, when you utilize what you already have, the life force inside of your body, you start to understand the universe on a different level. And oh yeah, it's going to be difficult. Yes, you're going to face off against challenges. Yes, things are going to work for you, and yes, things are going to work against you. That's a part of the process of understanding and manifesting your being. Think about it. You're a human being. You're a being in this universe. The ability to utilize this universe, it's up to you. It's up to you to find the positivity. Nobody else is going to find it for you. We take two people to a lake. One looks at the beauty in the lake. The other one is miserable. Where does that come from? The mentality. It comes from the place that that person is thinking. It comes from the challenges that they're going through. It comes from their ability to vibrate with their level of understanding of their being. And so are we on our journey? How do we utilize this journey? Where does it come from? When do we start to see that this universe is connected and you are a part of it? And a lot of people, they like to blind that out. They like to blind themselves out. They don't like to spend time on themselves. They don't like to spend time on focusing into what's positive. They don't like to spend time onto manifesting their being. They don't like to spend time on being who they are on the inside. They don't want to achieve it. They don't want to become it. They don't want to manifest it. And it's inside of the mentality that you have the ability to be you. It's inside of the mentality that stops you and blocks you. It's when you able your mind. It's when you able your ability to be who you are on the inside. And a lot of times we don't give ourselves that kind of permission. Why? Those are the types of questions people should be asking. Those are the types of questions they should be asking their teachers. They should be asking their leaders. They should be asking the people, how does this liberate my mind? How does this free me to be who I am? How does it get me to the place where I want to go? And they teach you to go to a place called Just Over Broke. J-O-B, Just Over Broke, so that you can receive just enough to make it to your next paycheck. When is it to the place where you see inside of yourself that you have what it takes? That the mentality inside of you continues, and it takes a daily grind, and it's going to be the universe that is going to be testing you. It's going to be the challenges that you go through. It's going to be the people that you look to that are you're going to see if they're going to be for you. They're going to either be for you or against you. Allow those people to move out of the way that are not for you being yourself. They're not for you being who you truly are on the inside. They're not for who you are on your daily. They're not who you are in your being. And some of you might be called to be mothers. Some of you might be called to be sons. Some of you might be called to be brothers and sisters. And so when do you be who you truly are? When do you give yourself the place? How do you go through the challenges? When do you ask yourself the questions that nobody else will? And this is what it's about. It's about getting to that place. It's about getting through those kinds of challenges inside of yourself, facing off against what nobody else will. And it's at that point inside of ourselves that we find who we truly are. It's at that point where we find who we are, it's only when we start asking ourselves the questions that nobody else can. It's only when we face off against the challenges that nobody else won't. It's when you give yourself permission to be who you already are. And so, against the grain, they teach change. Against the grain, they teach good. Against the grain, they teach you not to get your vibration in place, to get your mentality in place, to get your ability for you to be you in place. And so when do you start asking yourself that question? When do you start asking yourself, at what point do I put that kind of mentality to the test? When do I start putting that kind of mentality to the ability for me to be me? And that is the questions that we get to when we invest into others and we don't find the answer, when we find it inside of ourselves, when we find it inside of our being, when we manifest the light outward, when we manifest the being from within, when we radiate to that level of understanding where other people are watching what you're talking about and they're hearing it down to the core of their soul. When they see it for themselves, I'm starting to see people that are saying, well, it's because this time is hard or that time is hard. When do you see that always is going to be hard? You're going to have to pick yourself up. You're going to have to see what you got inside. You're going to have to ask yourself the question, is your mentality there? Is your ability inside of you to be you there? Is your level of reflection radiating light outwards? Is it at a level where your being has a place, where it has a purpose, where your challenges no longer have the ability to stop you? And I don't know why people don't teach this. I don't know why people don't give you the ability to start to choose for yourself. Maybe it has to deal with the system. Maybe it has to deal with the way that people look at things and the way that people view things. But it's up to you to get into yourself. It's up for you to be in the space where you are. It's up for you to liberate you. It's up for you to gain the place inside of you. Blessings to Paris. I have been to France before. And so I am part French, Quebecois. And I am Brazilian as well. So when do we get to the place where our mentality has a purpose? Yep. When do we get to the place where we go beyond the challenges that other people have? When do we give ourselves liberation? When do we free ourselves from within out? When do we manifest? When do we start to write stuff down and it starts to happen? At what point do you give yourself that place? And these are the types of questions we got to ask ourselves. These are the types of questions that we got to get down to. These are the types of questions that nobody else can achieve for you. And it's on a daily that you're going to wake up. It's on a weekly that you're going to face off against it. It's the jobs that you go to. It's the days that you live. It's the places, the people, the energy that you spend. It's the challenges that you go through. And I know for you that those things inside of you that you feel, those challenges that you face off against, they were designed for you to be who you are. They're designed to work in your favor. They're designed to help you to overcome those challenges that nobody else can do for you. They're designed to help you to manifest your being. And across the networks, yeah, I see the people connecting. I see them. And I see the challenges that they're facing off against. I see the days, I see the weeks, I've lived through it, I've slept in my van, I've meditated in the sauna, I've had nothing more than myself and 2 dogs and a car. A lot of people look at the challenges that they have and they don't know how to make it through it. Have they spent the time to sit down and to write it down? Have they spent the time to put it in front of themselves and say, let's do it. Let's come up with a game plan. Let's get to a place inside of ourselves where we manifest it, where we truly have the ability to get down with our own challenges, where what we are looking for already exists inside of ourselves. Are we focusing to that place? Are we getting through those kind of challenges to where we are the one on top of our lives? Are we focused to that point where what we have inside is a blessing? Are we focused to the point where what we manifest is coming from within, radiating out? Are we focused to the point where what we're doing and achieving is there for us and it's within us? Are we manifesting the light? Are we asking ourselves the questions that we should? Do we know who we are? Are we able to see that our level of focus and our process and our day and where we are and the things we're going through and the challenges that we're facing off against daily are no different than yesterday? It's in your mentality. It's in your ability. Are we able to unhandicap the mind? Are we able to hear what I'm saying with a level of mentality, with a level of ability, with a level of liberation? For the being inside has a place. And it's inside of your own level of focus that your mind starts to open up. It's inside of your own level of focus that you see that the challenges are here to work for your favor, that they're here to help you to overcome them, that they're here to help you to be who you are on the inside, that the manifestation is that you are on your path, that you are on your journey. And even though some might not admit it, yeah, they watch these videos. And even though some might not admit it, they are hearing what I'm saying. And I'm seeing them by the masses. I'm seeing them by the understanding. I'm seeing them by the purpose. And that is a place inside of who you are. And when you hear this to your core, when you hear this to the level of relation that you have in the universe, ask yourself, are you freeing who you are? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing it on the level of that I'm talking about? Are you seeing that you have a purpose, that you have a path, that your mentality is the thing that you are enabling or disabling? And so as we get to that place of liberation, as we put this stuff in front of ourselves, as we write it down, as we speak it out, as we put the vibration into the universe, we ourselves manifest our being. We manifest our purposes. We manifest our mentality. And there are people at this time, at all times, that are achieving greatness. They're achieving their being at that level of vibration. They're allowing the handicaps to become a part of the ability for them to be who they are. And it's up for you to achieve it for you. And it's up for you to stop you if you want to. But you got to give yourself the permission to have that kind of mentality. I've connected with Periscope, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm out there on multiple networks so that I could uplift you. I'm up there so that you could see the mentality and the challenges that I went through before this ever happened. Ask yourself what kind of blessings you have. Ask yourself what kind of challenges you have. How you can overcome your challenges with being yourself. The mentality is waking up. The mentality is the ability for you to have a focused mentality. A focus on what really matters to you. What challenges you truly face off against. What things you truly go through. And each day that I do this, each day that I put it out there, it's for you. It's for that person who's in that place that is facing off against the things that nobody else can. That's facing off against the things that nobody else will. That, you know, this is for that father who just lost their job. That mother who finds that, you know, they have to find their way on their own. That they have to find their way in their mentality. It's for the sister who just lost their brother. It's for the son who just lost their mother. It's for the person on the face of the planet who wants to understand their energy, who wants to understand their being, who wants to get to that place in their professions, who wants to get to that place in their light inside, to the place where the challenges no longer have the ability to stop them, where they're willing to stop putting excuses in front of themselves. They're willing to face off against their challenges. They're willing to be who they are on the inside. They're willing to get to the place where the understanding lays, to where they're not making excuses that it's because of somebody else. And this is for that person who allows themselves to go beyond what other people would do. Go to the place where other people won't. And that is inside of you. Because you have a breath. You have a being. You have a purpose. You have a place. And so each day that I wake up is a blessing. Each day that I'm alive is a purpose, and that is a journey. It is a place for you to see yourself. It's a place for you to understand who you are on the inside. It's a place for you to go through your challenges, to get to the place where nobody else can. And to get through those kind of challenges inside of ourselves that we free who we truly are. And so when I saw Sadhguru say to all of those people, you don't know, he's the one that doesn't know. Because when you know you, when you truly know you, is when you sit down and study you. It's when you face off against the things and the darknesses and the places that nobody else can go for you. It's the understanding that you can do it, that you can achieve it. That you can become it. That you can put your vibration in a place where you go beyond it, where you are inside of you. Where you have what it takes inside, where what you face off against is there for you, where what you understand is that you can do things that nobody else can do on the face of the planet, that you can become things that you're meant to become. And it's inside of yourself that you can do that. It's inside of your vibration that you can do that. It's inside of your being that you can do that. It's inside of your ability to use the light that you already are, that was created before, God chose that light was good. What about the fact that he saw the light before he chose that it was good? Can we see the light workers across the face of the planet? Can we get an amen for that? Can we get to a place inside where we are a blessing in this universe, where we are a part of the process in this universe, where we have a purpose in this universe, where we have a manifestation, where we are a understanding in this universe. And at that level where we allow ourselves to have that place, at that level where we run through the challenges that we have, where we start helping out other people with our gifts, we start helping out other people with our mentalities, where what we are facing off against no longer has the ability to stop one, because one's mind goes beyond that. One's ability goes beyond that. I think about a time when there were no positions. Think about when you were in your stages of youth, when you wrote something down on paper because you felt it, because you knew it, because you became it. I think of a time when we were simple in mind, when we are simple in being, when we're simple in understanding, when we're simple in who we are inside. And I look at that level of focus, at that level of simplicity, and I recognize that we can achieve that every day. We can achieve that in our every being. That the speed is actually slowing down. It's not speeding up. It's getting to the place inside of ourselves where both fast and slow are the same. It's inside of that level of energy that we are. It's inside of that level of energy that we utilize what we have. And what is it that you have? What is it that you are? What is it that you manifest in this universe? What is it that you manifest in that being that's inside of you? You are a blessing in this universe. It's up for you to see it for yourself. It's up for you to become it inside of you. It's up for you to allow yourself to be who you are. And each day that we do that, each day that we give that place its purpose, each day that we give that place the ability to overcome those kinds of challenges, is a victory. And as Arnold says, little victories add up. Little victories add up. Each day is one bite towards something inside of you becoming a mass. Each challenge that you see as positivity is the ability for you to overcome that challenge. Each reflection that you radiate outwards brings people closer to themselves, closer to their understanding from within, closer to their level of manifestation, closer to their being who they truly are. So, who are you? Do you love you? Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means to be who you are on the inside? Do you know what that means to face off against the challenges that you face off against? Do you know what that means to be a blessing in the universe, to reflect light outwards, to be who you truly are? Do you know what that means to see who you truly are, to reflect to the level where nobody else will go? What does it take for you to get there? How do you get there? Think about the most successful person you've ever met. Think about the most wealthiest person you ever met. Think about the poorest person you ever met. What do they have all in common? They're human beings. We're all simply a part of the same planet. We're all simply a part of the same being. We're all simply part of the same understanding. We're all simply part of being present in our lives. Being present inside of ourselves. Being present inside of our energy. Being present inside of the blessing that we are on the face of the planet. And it's at that level that we start to use the blessings that we are. It's at that level we start to use that level of energy within. It's at that place that we achieve it. It's at that place that we become it. It's at that place that we light up in the universe. And so each day that we achieve that, each day that we continue to grind, each day that we wake up with a positive mentality, each day that we wake up with the ability to be who we are, that we face off against the challenges that we face off against, that we liberate the mind, that we liberate the body, that the reflection radiates outwards, that the study inside works, that the practice inside becomes a manifestation outwards, is a victory in you being yourself. And nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can become it for you. Nobody else can go within you. Nobody else can achieve it for you. It's for when you achieve it for yourself. It's for when you become it from within you. It's when you light up in this universe to that level where you can do this. You have to believe in you. You have to believe that you have what it takes. You have to believe that you can achieve things that nobody else can to get to the place where you want to be. Blessings, blessings, blessings. So I am doing energy readings, and I am starting to get people showing up on the Periscope. You're welcome to call in if you'd like to get an energy reading. Work with the mentality, work with the ability inside of yourself, overcome some of the challenges you might be going through. That's what this network is about: motivation, meditation, inspiration. And so, are we getting down with our own challenges inside of ourselves? Are we getting to the place where what we have going on, we start to overcome? Let's go ahead and see if we can get another network live. Let's go ahead and get on a Instagram. Let's get this going. Let's go. And so, where are you on your daily grind? Where are you on your weekly grind? Where are you? What kind of challenges are you working through? And internal is where we find ourselves. Internally is where we find our mentality. Internally is when We overcome the things that nobody else can. And so, what practices do you utilize on a daily? I'm asking a question out here. Whoever's out there wants to put a response. What type of things do you do daily that make you who you are? What type of things do you do on a daily basis that if you did them every day, you would be in a place where your energy would be balanced? If you could do this thing every day, what would it be? If you could do this thing every day, ask yourself that question. What is that thing? For some of you, it might be singing. For some of you, it might be writing. For some of you, it might be speaking. But what is that thing that if you did it every day, you would be with you on a daily, where you uplift you? You're welcome to call in Nature Walker. I am live right now. I am having a live conversation. And the question right now is, what is that thing that if you did that every day, if you did this one thing every day, what would that thing be that if you could do it every day, your being your purpose would have its place? Blessings, my friend. How you doing?
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
So we're talking about meditation right now.
Yes.
So I know that you do nature walking, right? Now this is live on multiple networks, okay?
I know.
So how about sharing a little bit about what you do and how you do your nature walks and stuff?
Well, this morning I did a nature walk,
Uh-huh.
for instance. And what I do, I visualize, one part of the walk is visualize what I want to reach in a certain amount of time.
Okay.
And I visualize that and I see myself do it. So that is one part of the thing I do.
So beforehand you focus, right? You focus into it before you start the walk.
Well, I walk so much that even when my mind says I don't want to walk, I'm going to walk.
Sure.
So it is in my system. So I can even go walking even when I don't want to. So.
Well, that is overcoming the ability to not let the pain stop you. See, pain is just a teacher. Just like other things that we have, other challenges that we might have, as we focus beyond them, we can see that top of that mountaintop. I remember when I was running 12 miles and I was doing it in less than 2 hours. I ran to the top of a mountain, but the reason I could get up and get over it was because I could see exactly what you're talking about. And that takes a level of focus. You can see it before it happens. And so because you can see it before it happens, you can manifest it. And so you can almost literally feel yourself in the place. And when I was working with Cars for Chrysler, a part of the mentality of being able to sell cars was that you had to know the car well enough to where you could see the invisible side. And what you're talking about is the side that's unseen until you're actually there. And then when you're there and you find that it's almost identical to the way in which you imagined it in your mind, then you've manifested it at that point.
Yes, that's the point where I'm at this moment. So then I have to manifest the next thing.
Well, that's a constant level of becoming that process of focus. See, that's why focus is the foundation is because when you utilize focus at that level where you achieve it, then you believe you can do it. And belief is nothing less than knowledge that has been applied. A lot of people like to call that wisdom. Although discipline is really what matters, is yourself going through the journey. And so the knowledge and focus being applied is what discipline is. And so at that point, the reflection people call wisdom.
And already visualizing it really helps. What also helps is if you want to hike or want to do some sports or something inside you says, I don't want to do it, then set your hiking boots next to your bed.
Uh-huh.
If you wake up in the morning and you don't want to hike, you already see your hiking boots there. So the chances of picking those up and going for a hike, that really works. Yeah.
It really does. And it's inside of that. That's why I have in front of me each day, I have my computer and I get my shake. And I prepare my shake and I do my stuff before I start. And so I have my mixed nuts, my shake, and my 5 shakes that I do a day. And I put myself in front of the computer, and then I do my mentality. And then once the mentality, the shoes are in place, the visualization is inside of the meditation. And so each of us has our own way to utilize that.
Yes. And it is a meditation for myself. Is my heart. That's my meditation.
Well, that is a place where...
Another case can be sitting down, looking at the candle. For another person, it can be sitting down in total silence. For another, it can be swimming.
Singing, writing. Yeah, it's where your focus lays. It's where your ability to sit inside of your energy lays. It's when you still the mind. When the mind is stilled, and no matter how fast it is going on around you, you're inside of yourself, that the manifestation starts to happen.
Yeah.
And we see these people across the face of the planet. We see them in surfers, we see them in writers, authors, speakers. That place where you still your mind, where you truly get down with that person inside, is what it's about.
Yeah, that's true.
So how's the nature walking going? Are you getting a lot of people coming to you now to go for nature walks?
No, not yet. Because I didn't do a lot of marketing. So that's why there are not a lot of people coming. So.
Sure.
But that's the next phase. And that's what I'm coming to manifest.
Well,
and I already have an ID for hiking, what I can do. And I want to do it with people.
And you will do it.
It means something for people here in the neighborhood.
Sure.
So I'm going to do hikes and to think about how I will do this.
By sharing your experiences.
It will come to me. So my intention is there already, and it will manifest.
There we go. See, it's in that mentality that things start to become possible.
So the pathways within yourself are because of your intention.
Yes.
And because of envisioning what you want. The pathways in your brains are already happening. Manifestation can take place.
That is a beautiful thing when you start to manifest. When you start to manifest your purpose, when you start to truly manifest who you are inside, the reflection starts to radiate outwards as a level of inspiration. And that's what I strive to do, is become an inspiration. So if I can inspire you
Yeah.
to be closer to your nature walking, and for you to be closer to your place where you find your meditation,
Yes.
then breaking
Yes.
into the mentality to utilize that is where the energy uh, is, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
So,
we
yeah.
should all strive to be that
Yeah.
kind of inspiration. And so when people start to
Yes.
see,
Yes. And take a different think about things differently.
how about for a
Uh,
moment you share what you do, and you let people know what you do and where they can find information about nature walks.
well, I have a website. It's naturewalk.nl. It's Dutch, partly Dutch, partly English. So, but if you want to hike with me, then you can contact me, nature underscore mark, in Instagram, and then you can partake in a hike. You can do a hike actually together in the Netherlands,
Uh-huh.
or it is also possible to do a hike with me on the phone, and then we hike either in what part of the world it doesn't matter.
Well, that's a
It's,
great thing. Do you have a
yeah.
Facebook?
Yes, yeah, I have a place.
Let's go ahead and get you connected with my network here. So it's Nature Walk. What's your
Yeah,
Facebook?
Nature Walk. It's a Facebook group. I just started Facebook. I had a long time I didn't have Facebook, but one of the things to connect is to have Facebook. So I set up my account. So I have a group. Name is Nature Walk, and you can join.
Is it a personal blog or what?
It's a group,
Is
and you
this
can
it?
post things in it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's go ahead and get this shared so that way other people can get connected with you as well, and we can get you expanded here. What's your is there another page part for it, or do you have a page that you want people to be linked to? Because this is only a following page. Here, I'll just send you a message in there. You send me an invite.
Okay. Okay.
So I just sent you a
I will
message.
look. I will look at it. Just set it up. So this month I set it up. I set it up. So I didn't take a very good look at it. I had to do something.
Yeah.
The best way to contact me is via Instagram. That's the best way, I think. But
So got
Facebook group, I will look at.
got a lot of beautiful photos here from your site, and from the places that you've gone and the stuff. And is this all in the Netherlands?
Most of the things I post are in the Netherlands.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I've been also in Switzerland, so and in Belgium and Germany,
Okay.
and I post some pictures of that also.
Can you
Some footage of movie footage of Switzerland.
can you share a little bit about what brought you to wanting to go for nature walks?
Yes. Yeah.
So can you share with the audience a little bit what brought you to go for nature walks?
To nature walks. Okay. Well, I've had a very hard life, so it wasn't for me. It wasn't possible to be the child I wanted to be. So for me, the best place to go was in my room, or to go inside nature. Which at the same time, even if I hadn't had a hard life, then already an interest of me, and looking at all the birds, trees, plants, knowing the deeper meaning of what I saw there, with a mix of another view on reality I already had, and some knowledge about it, about perceiving other things within nature. So I was also very interested in the deeper understanding of nature and how it works.
And what did you start to find as you started to go into the deeper understanding of nature?
Well, I've had many experiences within nature, because I like to play with my own senses, and I can play with my own senses. So I know I've seen the world change before my eyes in nature. Sometimes I was at places and I sat there for 8 hours straight.
Can you go into what kind of education you actually have so people can understand what you mean by going into that mentality?
Well, education, you can call it education. It's more like finding a path within yourself, and explore the possibilities of your own capacities, like the art of dreaming. That's one of the things that's not very good understood, but it is within there. You can reach other realities and project them in this world. So
by that vibration, right? By your mental vibration.
Yeah, you can call it that way. Well, it's waking up in your dreams. Or what I did, for instance, was sitting by a tree.
Okay.
And listening to the leaves. There was a little breeze. And I listened to the leaves, and you can hear the leaves. Don't know the English word. You can hear the leaves, and then when I heard the leaves, my inner dialogue stopped. So
stillness.
And then
of mind.
Yeah, stillness. And then what my experience was is you cannot measure time. So time is only a thing you can measure with your thought.
Because it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind.
So when I silence my mind, there is no time.
There we go.
Time is, and then with that experience, I experienced sitting somewhere, and I thought it was 6 hours, and it was a minute. And other times I sat down somewhere, and I thought I'd sit here a minute, and then it was
hours
4
later.
hours later.
Yes.
So the experience of time is only measured with your own thinking.
So it's all in your mentality. This is all a reflection. It's a
mentality. It's very interesting. I've reached the oneness. So if you want to call it that way.
Sure, the place of focus and knowledge centered inside of oneself, where we are a classroom and of discipline. A oneness.
Yeah, oneness is one thing, and you experience the totality of things.
Yes, where you're one with the universe.
Yes.
I experienced that doing Buffalo.
You can voice it, but what you say about it is not the same as the experience itself.
Well, what I felt was I did a Buffo, which is DMT Trip 500 with a shaman.
Yeah.
And when I went down, I felt focus and knowledge centered, and I became one with the earth. And I felt the breath stop for a moment. And as the breath stopped for a moment, I felt like I was one with the whole being. And so at that point, I would become one with the focus and the knowledge, the vibration in the universe.
It's also, I think, it's also later on. It's the understanding that you cannot reach it. Yes, you can be there, and you can talk.
That
about
is a
it,
beautiful
but
thing what you
about
just
it is
said.
not the same as the experience itself. So it's like a dog who's trying to catching his tail but never reaches tail. I think this one of the essences to understand. Yeah.
Well, it's to become present within oneself, to understand that we are a tool in the universe, and to utilize the tools that we have to focus to the place where we manifest our understanding. Because all we are is a classroom. When you're on the field trip, but you're still inside of your classroom. You never leave that being. And so a lot of people, they don't take that kind of time. They don't give themselves that kind of place where what is going on inside is greater than what's going on around them. So they don't realize the beauty of that, the simplicity of that part of oneself, that you are still on a field trip. You're going to be you wherever you go.
Yes.
And it's in breaking down that level of simplicity that we're reminded that we're one with the universe.
Yes.
And it was inside of that place that I was on one of the most powerful drugs on the face of the planet. And I literally went and became one with the universe. And at that point, where you see my hands are completely laid down, the heart stops beating, and my hands just, I give to the universe, surrender to the universe. And then within a matter of seconds, I'll go ahead and play this so you guys can actually see it.
Yeah.
Watch what happens. It's a level of focus to that place, even where the mountain is. See? Straight into meditation. And then from meditation back into awareness.
Yeah.
And so it's in that place that we become one, and that's what I understood that day. That our breaths are that one stage away from becoming just part of it. That we are just a part of this great path, that our breaths are a part of this great purpose. And that was a really special experience that I went through. But it's interesting because a lot of monks, they spend a portion of their time sitting under a tree, utilizing the energy of the tree. Because there's a great energy inside of those trees. One of the most intelligent things on the face of the planet is a tree. If not the most intelligent thing on the face of the planet. And it's not because of the complexity or simplicity. It's because of the ability to focus to the point where a tree never gives up. It either dies or it finds a way. It will find sunlight even if it's in a corner. But a tree continues to try to search out that sunlight so that it can get that process going through it, so that the energy can flow inside of it, so that it can survive. And inside of that, trees have great knowledge.
Yes.
And so
yeah, I always use a tree to think about some concepts. So in that sense, and I've been with trees and then silenced my mind. So it's trees are very special. Yeah.
They
And
really
if
are.
you want to look at an energy base, you can sense also a lot of things with trees. Yes.
And also,
Units.
also, water is very special too.
Water can be utilized to travel.
Water,
Very
water,
cool.
water is very special. The earth is very special.
Yeah,
And so,
that's true.
the thing that I've been working with the meditation that I'm working with at this current moment is with the connecting of each energy field to each purpose in the universe.
Yes.
So, like, for instance, inside of the earth, we have lava. We also have a connection to the whole being of a red energy field inside of all of us. So, the connecting of that energy to become like Bruce Lee talk like water, right, is to let that energy flow through the whole being and to not contract it to the singular, but to get to the level where it connects you with the universe.
Yes.
And so I've been working with each individual energy field. Like, for instance, the upper and the lower heart chambers are related to you the same way the equator is related to the earth. And so it's getting really fun to be inside of oneself in meditation to the point where it's becoming one with the universe.
I understand what you say. Because I'm me.
Yep.
I like to make it practical. So, for instance, if you, for me, it has to have a practical. There's some practicality in it.
Sure.
It's a lot. It's a different word. But if I go to the forest and I silence my mind through the wind or through hiking or through whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it practically doing for me?
Well,
and what can it practically do for another?
Well, here's
for
the
me,
thing.
For it is to be tranquil and to feel
Sure.
the oneness of,
Well,
of all the
well,
things around.
The way that I look at that is like this. You're working with green energy, you're working with red energy, you're working with blue energy, you're working with white energy. But the main purpose is that purple energy. Because the awareness is not necessarily of the nervous system, but the being in present. And so the being in present is that when you take a step or you sit, that awareness that you have, that's not your nervous system, it's not what you feel. It's I can see how far I could see out. It's that depth perception. It's the being present inside. And I'm sure, like, with the people that you work with, you can see who actually is present.
Yes, I can see. One of the other things I do is working with mentally disabled people with severe behavioral problems. So that's one of the things I do.
So
I'm good at it.
You're a psychologist,
I
right?
can see where they are.
Yep.
So.
And so when you give yourself that time, it decompresses from those challenges. Because all they are is ability to see the positivity.
Yes.
And it's inside of the mentality that we free ourselves.
Yeah, and with working with those people, it's essential to be tranquil within yourself.
Yes.
Because they can sense it, how you feel, and they will react to it direct. So if you are scared or if you are not in tune with yourself, then they finish you, if you want to call it that way. It's done. So that's one of the things.
So
Another thing,
as a
with
profession,
working with those people is knowing where they are.
so as a profession, can you share what you do as a profession and what degree you have and whatnot?
Well, as a profession, I help people to deal with their life. That's and then very special people. For instance, people with autism or people with another disorder. That's where my expertise lies. So I know a lot about autism, but I know a lot of where somebody is at a certain moment in a certain place in a certain time.
That's a beautiful thing.
To help them to manage their day, to manage their week, to manage their month, to deal with life. That's where my expertise lies.
So, what can you share what degree you have?
I have, I don't know it in English, but it's social behavioral degree, something like that.
So a psychology degree, right?
Yeah, something you can compare it with that. Yeah.
So that's a blessing, because that's what I look forward to doing for people in other ways. I've been working at that thing, and I like the fact that you're utilizing your challenges around you to be who you are inside. That's really what it is about, and that is even working in a professional aspect, you know?
Yeah. And it's also what I like. And one of the things I like is also the challenge. So sometimes there can be a lot of aggression.
Okay.
Can be.
A lot of red energy, huh? A lot of red energy.
Can when their surroundings are not in tune with what they know and what they see, and they can get panicked or scared or angry or and then there is aggression. So
sure.
And if you are with them, the aggression is for you. So they take it out on me. So how do you deal with aggression? At the moment it's happening. So that's very interesting.
So I think that the best answer there comes from Michael J. White. Do you know Michael J. White?
No. Tell me.
Okay. Michael J. White is a 13th degree black belt. 13th degree Dan.
Okay.
And Michael J. White is the guy who's in the movie Never Back Down.
Okay.
Now, when we're in a place where we lose our focus, we lose our sense of reality, and when we lose our sense of reality, we go out of control. So as long as one is focused, the challenges that we face off against, we have the ability to overcome them. So in that place where those people are like that, it requires a higher level of focus to get to the place to understand where their mind is coming from.
Yes.
And to allow the mind to bring them back to the place where they're utilizing the positivity to overcome their own challenges for themselves. That frees the person.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we feel like other people are trying to help us, until we want to help ourselves, nothing can be done.
Yes.
And so in that kind of a place, it's a moment to sit back and let that person answer the questions to themselves.
Yes. Yes.
That's how you.
Same profession, it's a bit different. But for normal people, what you say, yeah,
Anybody.
very.
Anybody goes through the same challenge. It's to get to the place where they
Well,
sit down with focus. Because at a certain place where they start to focus.
you cannot tell that. With some people, you cannot tell that. I work also with people with autism who cannot talk.
It's okay if
So
they
they
can't
have
talk. Can they write?
They have a development age of 1.5 years. So you have to know their autism, you have to know their development age, and their cognitive age, because they can be disharmonic.
And I
if you know
understand that there are
you
some
know-
people like that. I understand. There are a lot of people, however, there are a lot of people, even with even a third or a fourth grade mentality, that can grasp to that and start to learn.
Yes,
And
Yes.
it's inside of the ability to focus and the knowledge inside of oneself that we start to free ourselves. So it's not when other people free us. It's not when we're working with a program and the program works. It's when the internal being starts to work. It's when they start asking themselves the question, why am I doing this way? That they start to see the positive moving in that direction. A lot of people teach good, bad, when actually, in fact, is what your mind says inside of itself that frees you from your challenges.
yes.
And so
When
when
I talk about my profession, it's one of the first things we focus on is a good day program. So the people I work with, for instance, have autism, and if they have a good day program, they will go through the day on a good manner.
so
And that's one of the things. And then if that happens, then you can go on relation, and they relate to you on their special way. And then with this relation, you can do something out of the box. So out of the program, out of the day program.
so
So
see,
that's one of the things I do.
one of the places to elevate the mind is not to just good and bad. We teach good and bad. However, when somebody burns their hand, right? You can't ungood that. So that was a negative thing that happened. That wasn't a positive thing that happened for you, because if it was positive, it would have worked. So the vibration,
Yeah,
which
I think it's a bit like a distinction to survive. So we have a survival mechanism, and we have a distinction.
yes,
And we distinct some things in good and bad.
there we
And
go.
that's because
But once the mind's
we want to have focus
elevated,
on the things that are good for us.
once the mind is
So
once the mind is elevated past good and bad, then the ability for things to start turning into a way that you make the choice to realize that it's positive start working for you. Just look at Newton's third law. For each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If we took away all rules, if there was no such thing as a rule on the face of the planet, right?
yeah,
People would still decide that things are positive and negative.
yeah,
So this whole entire good word came from a place biblically, because a lot of the way that stuff's been laid down has come from biblical. The way words are stated. And so the word good comes from, in the beginning, God saw that light was good. So when we take a sentence, we see before we choose. So if we can be the positive force to start to put the energy into the place where positivity starts to become the ability to where it's not about the choice afterwards, this is a good thing and this isn't a good thing, then the hack and the mentality starts to decide, hey, I'm doing something positive.
Yeah, it's also the problem with I think with labeling. We label a lot of things. Labeling is also necessary to survive. And so for instance, you have a stream of people who call themselves MGTOW. For instance, men going their own way. People have to know, have to do what they want, but don't label yourself like I am this or that, or you are not a certain thing. It's also with mental diseases.
Yes.
We have a label system, huh?
And that's not healthy.
To the DSM-5, and then it's not helping.
It's not healthy. It's
not helping.
Yeah, no,
but
and that's
introspection helps.
That's part of the questions we got to ask ourselves, and that's the vibration and the mentality, and that's where I started to realize that there was no such thing as good or bad. And hear what I'm saying. It was those same people that train and teach those kind of mentalities that were killing my friend who had stage 4 metastasized cancer inside of herself. When they went and did a DNA test on her, they found out that the cancer that she had was not hereditary, which means she caused it herself to herself.
Yes.
And so her children don't have it, but yet she died of stage 4 metastasized cancer because she was taught not to cry. She was not taught not to have emotion. She was taught not to see positivity and negativity, to do what other people told her to do and not to be herself. And so I realized that helping that person out, that those same people who teach and train and teach that way are not putting it in that. And so I started to look at how Newton talked about the universe, because I know universal law exists. Universal law exists. Singular law, that's across the planet. There are people who have decided it goes one way or another. It could go this way, all of a sudden it could change to go that way. But universal law, universe, that we are mass and energy, that we are body in motion stays in motion. And
what says I will die.
Yeah, that, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, it comes from that energy. And I heard Robert Kiyosaki say that emotion is nothing less than energy in motion.
Yes.
So if energy in motion is what emotion is, the word itself already says it. People just haven't uncoded the word itself. Emotion.
Yeah.
So the simplicity that already exists on the face of the planet, the understanding comes down to understanding what Oprah Winfrey did. See, my mantra is the law of riches. It means when I share with other people, I receive more in return. The energy that I receive is when I help other people. The discipline and knowledge there, it's at a place where I want to help other people. What matters is to understand Newton's third law of motion with total acceptance. Einstein stated, become friends with the universe. That's his statement. The reason why Einstein got where he was because he decided he was going to become a friend with ultimate total understanding, that he was going to become friends with the universe. That no matter what challenges came Einstein's way, he was going to do that. He was going to become friends with the universe.
A very funny thing you say about acceptance. And sometimes I think some words we use them too easily.
Well, we escape from ourselves.
I ask myself, what do I do when I'm in total acceptance? What am I doing?
That's study. And that is where the place of the foundation of focus lays. And that's the reason why I say we got to allow the force in the universe to work in a positive way. When we allow the positivity to move in your direction, the universe itself will fill itself with positivity, realizing a body in motion stays in motion. And it's got to be with the understanding that the breath is both mass and energy, and that we interchange our breath with the energy inside of one's body to understand the whole being. Because after all, we are human beings. That second word is to be present inside of ourselves. That being present, that being, that self, that one self in the universe, to become that kind of tool in the universe is focus. It's focus that opens up the knowledge inside, that says that the knowledge is sufficient. And it's when we become best friends with that person inside that we free ourselves. And that's how the universe works. If you allow yourself to be stripped from everything that is all left with is yourself, not you, then all you're left, and through doing that,
then you can get hollow.
Then
you
that
don't have things in your life.
And then they start, the things that are meant to move in your direction, they start moving in your direction. The challenge that we face off against in the universe is finding the foundation of focus. Finding the literal foundation that one being themselves is worth it. A lot of people have trained people to do something other than be themselves. And so that's why what I was trying to say about a good day program should be actually a positive day program.
Yes.
And not a good day program. Because what happens on a bad day?
Certain things in it, yes.
What happens on a bad day? Is it not a part of the good day program? So the mentality and a place to search out the positive in the angles brings negative in such a way that it no longer has the ability to fill the mentality. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Up until I was 17 years of age, I had a 4th grade reading level.
Yes.
I was in school till 19. In the last 6 months of high school, I stopped taking English classes, stopped taking math classes, stopped taking all these classes. I sat down one night. I read Steve Three's book about how he became Mr. Olympia. I started with the 4th grade reading level. I went into an IEP. By the time I went into the IEP, I had a 8th grade comprehension. From a 4th grade reading level to an 8th grade comprehension, because I decided to teach myself.
Yes.
So I understand a lot where these people are coming from.
Yeah.
But not only that, I don't give an excuse to the scars, the challenges, the things that I'm strong at and that I'm weak at. I focus in to what I'm strong at. I allow the strengths to overcome the weaknesses. And it's inside of the mentality to want to do it for oneself that we free ourselves.
Yes, I know what you mean. And one of the things that I think really helps is changing your perception on certain subjects. So if you talk about, for instance, if a child sees an aura around something, around a stone or around a human being, according to the Western science, you have hallucination.
Yes.
And according to other groups, you don't have hallucination, you have a gift.
You got it.
But
just hit it right on point. And that's what's going on here with those Western, Eastern.
So what is your perception about it? And this perception within yourself makes things better. So, and you have to be stubborn about those perceptions. You can change them if you want, but hold on to them. If you think you are right and you need it and it is rooted in yourself, it is you, and it is good to be you. can be a bit different. But one
That
of the perceptions I did on those subjects.
that toughness inside is focus at the point where the searing of the heat no longer has the ability to affect you. This is what I talk about overcoming fear. This is what I talk about getting to the place where emotion no longer stops you. This is the place where pain no longer has the ability to hold you back. It's that place of mentality to where the ability inside of oneself becomes the ability to have nothing more and nothing less than who you are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's true.
and it's that place that we find ourselves.
Yes.
And it's when we have nothing more than ourselves. Like, so whenever you're going out in the forest and you're putting yourself in a place where you can become best friends with yourself, and it's not about how much degrees or not degrees or what level are you willing to go to inside of yourself? What place do you go where nobody else can go?
Then when you are there,
That's what.
there's no left. Such thing.
Yep.
It's just the experience of one. Yeah. And that's the only thing that left. So you left out of words. You left out of comparison.
You just nailed it on the dot. It's when it doesn't matter about all that other stuff, and what's going on inside is really being worked on.
Yes.
And every single person on the face of the planet has that capability.
Yes.
That capability. It's for each to reach into that level inside of themselves and use what they do have, not what they don't have. Because we all, everybody on the face of the planet does not have things. All of us do not have the same skills. We do not have the same mentality.
No.
We do not have the same abilities. It's for us to find that place inside each individual. And so Periscope's asking me to shout out for Chris, so there you go. But what we do inside of ourselves is what matters the most. And that's why it's not about good and bad. That's why. And I know that on a certain level inside you know what I'm saying. And it's a waking up to that level to where you allow Newton's third law for each action there's equal and opposite reaction to start to have its place. And it's inside of waking that part up inside of ourselves that we start to free who we are. And one of the things that I was asked a few days ago was, there was this girl and she was telling me right now is a hard time to get positions, to get jobs, and to get things. Well, in certain people's minds, it's always going to be hard for people. The people who want to achieve things, it's going to be in their mind. They're not going to let how difficult it is at certain times stop them from having the mentality. And if there isn't a way, they're going to find a way.
Yeah, because some people perceive the world as what you say, a bad thing or a good thing.
And so it's when we see past that.
Of that perception and say it's a challenge. Everything is a challenge.
And that is the challenge and focus. That is the place why focus is the foundation.
Challenge of manifestation and focus.
Once one chooses that focus is the foundation, and that the universe is a positive place to live, and that everything is happening in our lives is happening for our better, when the positivity starts to become the foundation, then we see the challenges as a way to overcome the challenges. That they no longer, but that comes with a level of acceptance. And the person that I've seen with that level of acceptance, she was about to die when she understood this. It was a great thing to see somebody say that to me, to teach me that kind of lesson, because after all, we're always learning. Till the day that that this energy inside of this being leaves this with this last breath, that we are always learning. And so
Yes.
the acceptings of that is a blessing in itself. And to see
Yes.
somebody truly accept that part was amazing.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going. It's late here.
All right.
I'm going to do an evening hike. Before
Wonderful.
bedtime.
Wonderful, my friend. The stars in the sky are aligning. They're aligning. The fold between universes is opening up right now. So that we're in a time where time is overlapping. So
Yes.
so if you're out and you feel that there are things that are there's two dimensions that are actually coming together right now. They're overfolding. So while you're out, if you actually feel that, that's what's going on, because we're seeing something that hasn't happened since since the 1200s. It's literally getting ready to happen. It's a lining of two. It's dark matter. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So the dark planet is aligning with our reality. So it's pretty cool stuff going on. Blessings, my friend. It's great to hear from you. If you want to throw out any shout outs, now would be the time. Any network, or let anybody know where they can reach out to you.
You can reach out me, nature_monk at Instagram. If you DM me, I will contact you. So,
all right, all blessings to my friend in the Netherlands. Keep on your path, keep on your journey, and I'm here if you have any questions, okay?
Okay, thank you for the conversation.
You're welcome. Have a blessed day, all right?
Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Bye now. What a wonderful conversation with the Netherlands there. I'm out to do some more energy readings, get into some places inside of ourselves, get into some mentality. There's an example of one way that we have the ability to utilize what we have, the mentality to get to the place inside of ourselves to use these types of technologies, to use these kinds of mentalities. This is where you have the questions to get down with a yogi, to get down with somebody who is inside to that level where we can utilize our mentalities to work with that place. You can connect with my network, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration.yoga, Periscope, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So if there's anybody with challenges out there that they would like to research or look through, or the questions that they might have, they can reach out to me on any of those networks. Let's go ahead and take a break. I should be back here. Just going to go ahead and set up another shake. I just want to leave you all with blessings for the time being. I will be getting back online here in a few minutes. Blessings, blessings, blessings as always, and namaste.